Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at this little Homelite. It's a two-stroke water pump. It's a Homelite AP125 and says it pumps 1,860 gallons per hour. Neat little pump for draining out small wells, things like that. A couple of problems that we're looking into is there's no primer bulb on it. Fuel lines are rotted out, and there's no fuel cap. But we'll look into it. We'll see if it's got some compression. It does have it. Okay, let me get set up. Right. There it is. There we go. I'm going to be careful with it. It looks like it's really old. Maybe 3/8. Got 3/8 on here. Yep. Alright, I'll get back to you when we get this carburetor off. Alright, let's see what we got going here. It's stuck. There we go. I'm going to be real gentle with this. Don't want to tear up the gaskets or anything because I don't know if we can get any. Alright. It's a Walbro carburetor, so it's going to be real easy to rebuild. We'll have to get a kit for it, see which model it is. We'll clean it up a little bit. And we'll go from there, I guess. The carburetor on this is a Walbro WT244. If you look right here, you can see it says right there WT and 244. So you can look up online on Walbro's website and go to your local small engine dealer. The kit we're going to be using to rebuild this is going to be a Walbro K10 watt. First thing we need to do is we need to get this tore apart. There's 4 screws right here where the primer bulb goes, and as you can see, the primer bulb here is destroyed. So you take these 4 screws off. The silver plate you see in front of you is a separate piece that holds the primer bulb on. You can see that's pretty destroyed, so we're just going to take that remaining piece of primer bulb out. Set this aside. And here we've got a gasket and a diaphragm. Turn it over and we look very carefully. There's a line right here. This lower part is the gasket, this upper part here is the diaphragm. Then inside here is a Welsh plug, and right here is the rocker and the pin and the needle. We'll take those apart in a few minutes. I'm going to set these parts aside, but before we do that, we're going to turn our carburetor over on the bottom. This particular one has got a Phillips screwdriver or a straight slot. Take the screw out of the bottom. And underneath here should be where the reed valves are. Oh, look at that junk. I can get these separated. Right here are the two reed valves that will flap open and close. And what they do is, you can see where they line up right here. Oops, I'm sorry. See where they line up right here underneath these two holes. And they will open up and let fuel in to go through the carburetor. And then we've got a gasket right here. The real important thing when you're going to rebuild one of these carburetors is remember the order your gaskets came in. On this particular side with the reed valve diaphragms, it's gasket against the cover, then the diaphragm. On the other side, it's gasket against the base, then the diaphragm. Alright. Alright, so the inside of the carburetor, the needle valve. This is what controls the flow of your gasoline in and out. You want to put your thumb over the top of it, just like this. You don't have to remove the screw entirely, but you do have to loosen it considerably. Once you get it loosened up like that, you should very carefully, see how it's coming out one side now? Very carefully, you can pull the pivot out, pull the spring out. Keep track of that spring, don't lose it. Let's see if we can pull the needle valve out here. Yeah, this is pretty gooked up. We'll get some carburetor cleaner here and shoot it through. See if that'll help clean this thing up, and then we can get on to rebuilding it and putting it back together. Okay, when you're using the carb cleaner, can't stress enough, safety glasses. I prefer gloves myself, just because this stuff can sting. Alright, we'll shoot a little carb cleaner. Go ahead and put some in every hole, make sure it's flowing. Go to the other side. Okay, one of the last things we want to do, there's a screen right here. And this screen, sometimes you won't even see the debris in it. And that will clog up and prevent your carburetor from running. So just take something sharp like a pick and just lightly pull the edge of that out. One little carb cleaner on that, and then I'm not sure if you can see through that or not, but that's where your fuel flow comes in. Alright, let me get a shop towel out and lay all these parts on it, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do a rebuild. There are several gaskets in here. You're going to find that you're not using all the parts. Don't worry about it. It is designed to do several different carburetors. Let's get all these parts up here out of the way. Alright, we know we're going to need a new needle valve. So there's our new one. Move our old one off to the side. I'm going to reuse the pivot. I'm not going to use a brand new one. There's really no need to. There's no damage to this particular one. It's kind of a personal preference thing. If yours is damaged or you're not comfortable with it, go ahead and replace it. So now we're looking at, here's a new screen. Set that off to the side there. And now we're looking for the reed valve. These reed valves might come in black. They might come in a blue plastic like this. All you have to do is line them up and see if they line up. And if they do, then it's all right to use. And there's the winner. Take the old one out, put the new one in. Line these two up. Perfect. Old one out, the new one in. Now the diaphragm and the gasket. I'm going to bet it's this gasket right there. And here's the diaphragm. Remember I told you in the beginning, they were two separate parts. They're almost always stuck together. So let's see if we can separate this out ever so carefully without destroying anything. Now, that is stuck on there pretty good. But if we look at the new one, we can see the new gasket lines up, and we can see the diaphragm is the same. Alright, so we've cleaned all our parts. We'll go ahead and do the diaphragm side first. So here's our diaphragm. Here's our new gasket. That's our pump side. So the first thing we want to do get our pivot pin, our spring, and our needle valve. And all you're going to have to do is get that spring right here. Notice there's a small depression right there. Set that spring in the depression so that it's standing up. You want to make sure the dimple on this pivot is facing down, not up. Bet you didn't know you were going to watch me struggle with this 5-minute job for 20 minutes. When you get them lined up, put a little pressure on the entire thing, and look at your pin. Make sure your pin is down and underneath the screw while holding it with your finger. Go ahead and get your screwdriver on there. That's why I said don't take the screw out, because it's just one more part. And if you can avoid taking that screw out, you will have a better day. And there we go. The diaphragm pushes down on this right here, and that allows fuel to go in and out. So, we look at our old one. How's this go on here? It goes gasket first, then diaphragm. So we line our gasket up on these two tabs. Take our new diaphragm, line that up on those two tabs. We take our cover here, line that up, and set it down, Put that over the top. We take our screws. We're gonna put the screws in. And we're not going to tighten them all the way down at first. We're just going to snug them down a little bit. Make sure everything seats properly. Then we will tighten them in a crisscross pattern that will allow for even tightening and less chances of getting a fuel or an air leak. So we snug them down diagonally. Remember, you're dealing with steel screws and an aluminum body and plastic. Now is not the time to think you're Superman. Snug them down in a crisscross pattern, and then we do it evenly to prevent leaks. And we don't want to strip anything out either. That gives that gasket the best chance. Seating correctly, creating a seal. Because the last thing you want to do on anything like this, chainsaw, this water pump, weed eater, carburetor on your lawnmower, the last thing you want to do is get it all put together, then tear it apart because you got a fuel leak. So lay the screen over. Gently start to seat that screen all the way down. And then just kind of run it around the edge so there's no creased or folded edges. There we go. Now we're ready. So as long as you don't forget to put the screen in like I did for a moment there, it's really that easy to do a two-stroke carburetor. So we're looking at it. Up here's a primer. So this has got to go down to the primer, and then this will go into the tank to the fuel filter. So we'll go ahead and try and measure that first. We'll take some fuel line, hold it there. It's going to have to come over and go down, we'll say, about there. So we'll cut that off. And then a little trick for you is cut the tip of your line on an angle like that. Makes feeding it into the fuel tank a lot easier. Then once we get it in the tank and pulled through, we can trim that straight and put the filter on it. So I'm just going to choose this hole. Start working that down. Another trick, if it gets a little stuck, let me slide this carburetor out of the way for a moment, is put a little dish soap on it. Take our new fuel filter, another trick you can use if these get a little difficult to put on, is you can heat them up with a hair dryer or a heat gun if you happen to have one. There we go. Drop that into the tank. Now fit this to the bottom of our carburetor. All I got to worry about now is the primer. We'll see if that one's going to be long enough. Looks like it just might do it. So we'll work that onto the end of our primer bulb. Goes. Feed that down through. Alright, let's see if we can get that down in there. I'm using a very small 90-degree Torx bit. Doesn't have a sharp end on it. And while we're waiting to watch me fumble with this, we get entertained by the cicadas. There we go. All right. The only thing we've got left to do is put this air box back on. And get these snugged up. And again, don't want to tighten it down too much. Just snug it up till we can get both sides going. That way we can ensure that we've got even pressure. There's that. Tossing our air cleaner. And put our air filter back on. So pretty much that's it. We're going to have to wait until I get a new fuel cap for this so that we can try it out. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's other stuff you want to see. Take care.